Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. So happy to be able to check in with you today. I will be leaving tomorrow for a week in San Diego, going off to a seminar and a mastermind. I love masterminds, as you know. And today I wanted to share with you the keys to your successful practice and how to really leverage your time and your business so that you can help a lot of people and actually have a sustainable business that you have income that supports you. And I know that there's a lot of coaches out there who are struggling. There's a lot of therapists out there who are struggling, and also healers and consultants. And it's like, where am I going to get my clients? What should I focus on? What should I offer? And, that's always the $60 million question, right? So here's the thing. What you want to do first is have a huge, huge vision. What do I want this business to do for me? At the end of the day, when I've built my business to the utmost of what it could be, what's my life going to look like? Are you going to live where you're living? Are you going to be driving the same car you're driving? Are your kids going to have more advantages than you could have given them before? Where are you going to take a vacation? Where will you have your adventures? How many hours a week will you be working? What are you going to be doing during those hours? And who do you love to help? I mean, I think that's really, really, really key. If you are scattered and you're like, well, I want to help everyone, probably not going to hit your goal and not going to have a successful practice. People who are successful become an expert, and it's not that hard to become an expert. You just need to know more than the person that hires you, right? And they also want to be super focused in solving a problem that target market has. People pay you for results. They don't pay you to make them feel good necessarily, but they pay you to have results. Results are key in attracting clients. It's also super key to focus. What do I mean by focus? Well, focus is, a lot of things for focus. Focus is, having a direction and like putting the time and energy into building that. But also focus means picking the one thing that's going to get you to the outcome that you want. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of my journey, and hopefully that will explain some of this vision and focus. So for many years, probably for, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 years, I ended up having 3 different businesses. And the reason I thought I needed 3 different businesses was because I really believed in a lot of different streams of income. And that's okay if some of the streams of income are passive, but it's not okay if your streams of income all require you to be the CEO and owner, because that means that you have to do all the work in each of those. It also means that when you go out into the world and people ask you what you do, you're going to be saying, well, I'm this and I'm this, and on Sundays I do this. And that doesn't work for getting people to hire you, right? So you want to make sure that you have one thing that you're offering. So way back in 2008, hey Erica, Pamela, hi Brian. Nice to see you all here today. Thanks for joining. And there's other people, just say hi and I'll be able to, step out and say hello to you as well. And please put your questions in. I'd love to make this interactive with you. So way back in 2008, I was building my parenting coaching business. Many of you, we've been friends and connected since then. And it was going really, really well. I was bringing in about $10,000 a month. I was on track to, go beyond the 6 figures. I was really there. And then what happened? The economy crashed, right? And the first thing that happened was almost every single client that I had that was paying me $1,000 a month or more got scared because of the economy crashing. And I had people calling me from all over the country. I can't pay it. I have to pay my mortgage. They're going to take my house. They're going to take my car. People were really, really, really afraid, and they pulled back. And that's an outside driver. That's something that you cannot, who would have predicted that the economy would have crashed because of the mortgage crisis, right? So I pulled back and I said, I've got to support my family. What am I going to do? And fortunately, have a LCSW, licensed clinical social work, and I can go get a job. So I did very quickly, found a job. It was not a good job for me. It was really not a fit. I'm not going to even get into the details of what they wanted me to do, but it was just, I dreaded going to that job. At the same time, a friend of mine reached out and said, "Hey, I'm a health coach, and I'd love you to be a health coach with me, be on my team, work with me, whatever." And I thought, well, I don't know anything about that, but I can learn. So I jumped on and started that business. That business, fortunately, took off very quickly. And within 6 months, I quit my job at the clinic where I was working and went back and worked at home again. And I built that business up for about 3 years, but there was always something sort of nagging in the back of my mind about it. It wasn't, I loved helping people get healthy. Don't get me wrong here. It's really, really rewarding, but it wasn't really my business. I was joining another business and I didn't have really a say in how it was presented or the materials or even how creative I could be. And I helped a lot of people. Honestly, helped so many people, including my husband. Oh my gosh, he got off blood pressure he was going to go on blood pressure medicine and he didn't have to. He's to this day kept the weight off. A lot of family members as well. I think I touched over, I don't know, 1,500 people's lives in the over a period of time and helped them get healthier and educated them. But when I looked back on my career track, it was really off. Like I was a family therapist, a play therapist. I really saw myself as a coach who wanted to help people in other ways, not just health. But I didn't want to kill the business, so to speak. So I kept it. And then I had an opportunity to do some business coaching with Christian Michelson. He hired me to be on his team. And when I first started doing that, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is so much fun. I love helping people build their business. I love brainstorming. I know a lot. I've been doing this for, gosh, almost 15 years. I've been building coaching businesses for myself and helping other people. And I had done some business coaching, but I never said when I went out in public, hey, I'm a business coach. I said, I'm a parenting coach. Even though therapists found me, people found me and said, I want to do what you've done. I want to leave my managed care. I want to get out of fee for service and I want to go online. So it was super enticing for me to be able to join his team. And I learned so much. He has a multi-million-dollar business. I'm on the inside of that business. I get to see what a big business like that looks like. And I got a little itchy. And I said, oh my gosh, I got to resurrect this parenting programs that I've done. And so I went into full gear on the parenting coaching and I had a full-on launch. I created a program called Mom Magic. And I made some really, really good money at that. And I got out and reestablished myself as a parenting coach. But when I got on the phone with some of the families that I was working with or was delivering the programs, I felt like there was somewhat of a disconnect. And I don't know really what that was. I think it was the feeling that I was being pulled back into sort of a therapist role. And I really, really burned out on that, right? I really didn't want to do that anymore. But I did it. Like I did this whole business for like a year and a half. And then, so now here I am. I'm working with Christian. I'm doing the health coaching and I resurrected the parenting business. And I am beyond busy. Like you be busy and completely confused because I never knew like what I'm supposed to be doing when. When I went on Facebook, should I be posting about getting healthy? Should I be posting about business? Should I be posting about parenting? I had 3 Facebook groups, 3 business pages. And when I would go out to an event, I had 3 business cards, all the different things, depending on who I was in front of. It was crazy making, absolutely crazy making. And here's the even weirdest thing. No matter what I did in each of those 3 businesses, at the end of the year when I did my taxes, my income was stagnant. I was at 6 figures. I was supporting myself. I was doing okay, but I wasn't growing. I wasn't doubling or tripling my income. And I'm scratching my head saying, I don't get it. I don't know why. And I started getting coaching. Well, I have been in many mastermind groups and get coaching, but one particular coach really said to me, how can you expect to grow this one business when you're trying to grow 3 at the same time? But at the same time, I felt like this loyalty, and I felt, scared. Like, how can I put all my eggs in one basket? Because of what happened in 2008, I was really hanging on to that story about you have to have a lot going on. But I know now you have to have a lot going on passively, not actively. Actively, one thing, passively, as many things as you want to do, right? And I didn't see it. I also felt, like I said, an incredible loyalty to people that I had been serving. I have 10,000 parents on my list. What am I supposed to do with those people? Well, I'll tell you in a minute what I did, and I'm still figuring that out. But I was standing in a live event in San Diego, one of Christian's events, and I'm inside this event. I'm about to go into my own mastermind group, and I'm like, I love masterminds. I love groups. I'm just going to start one for people like me, therapists who are in fee-for-service, coaches, healers, consultants, people that don't see the bigger vision and then don't know how to get out of their own way to do it, right? So I said, I'm just going to do this group. So I started telling people I was going to do it. And when I got home, I followed up with phone calls. And within 3 weeks, I had enrolled 12 people into my mastermind group. And I did an open enrollment, and I continued to enroll people week after week after week. And I just was counting up before I got on this call with you so I could tell you my results. Since January, and we're only in September, that's 9 months, I'm over 60 clients, 60 clients between masterminds, groups, and individual clients, racking up around 10 now. I got so full with the business that I ended up hiring a coach and to coach for me in my business to help me. And I also just hired an online business manager. So now I'm really have a team, and I can really, but I'm so hyper-focused. Everything I do is about the mastermind, my mastermind. Everything I talk about always ends up in that conversation. When people ask me what I do, now I can say truly that I am a business coach for coaches, therapists, and healers. And it works. And guess what? When I'm on the phone with people and I'm working with them, inevitably we talk about their family. Inevitably we talk about health. It's just when you're coaching people, you talk about everything. But you've got to pick the one business. Now, here's the kicker. Are you ready for this? I'm doing my monthly income, and I'm on track for $300,000 this year. I'm not kidding you. I am making between $20,000 and $30,000 a month. Probably this month going to go over $30,000, and that's because I let two things go and focused on one thing. One thing that I knew I could give results in. One thing that I absolutely can't wait to get out of bed and talk about, right? It's one thing. And it wasn't a risk. The risk was here. The risk was here, like I was afraid because of what happened in 2008. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you are spread too thin, if you're trying to do too many things, you need to let go of the things that aren't serving you. And you can take this one step further. Maybe you only have the one business that you're working on. Maybe that's it. But maybe you're doing a lot of things in that business that aren't giving you an ROI. Isn't it possible that it's not giving you an ROI? When you're making your website, every time a coach or a therapist or healer tells me they're working on their website, I want to say, stop working on your website. What's that going to do for you? Unless you are paying a lot of money to send people to your website, why are you building a website? If an opt-in page is different, like a one page with a freebie, but here's the thing, build the thing and don't send anybody to it. Nobody's going to know you exist. So you have to figure out how to get in front of people. So that's the third thing I wanted to talk to you about, was be open to the opportunities. Get out there, show up. You can't do it like under the covers. You have to meet people, whether you're in an airport and on an airplane or in the supermarket or at an event or networking or people that you know. Every person that you meet may not be a client. They probably won't be, but they will have you thinking something different based on that conversation that you have with them, right? So be open to those conversations about how those things will lead to you. Don't be afraid to not follow up. Someone's going to think I'm a pest. Here's the thing. I follow up like crazy. Does it go through my head that maybe people will think I'm a pest? Absolutely. But until someone tells me that they don't want to hear from me again, I find a way to make a soft reconnect to them. Hey, did you have a chance to look at that? Hey, have you thought more about my mastermind? Hey, I really would love to have you. Hey, let's get on the phone and chat about it. Hey, do you have any more questions? I never talk to people just once. And if you're on here and you know me, you know that, right? I really do follow up, follow up, follow up. And I'm also open to the things, the magical things that will happen. And I'm going to share a few magical things that happened. First of all, when I said I was going to do this program, the mastermind, I didn't know if it would be successful. It was like I just basically threw spaghetti at the wall and said, I'm going to do this. Let's see who's going to come. Now I have something like 40 people in my that I've signed up that, that get on these calls twice a month with me, the Zoom calls for the mastermind. What's come out of it is one of the people in my mastermind said, hey, Susan, why don't you have a live event? And I wasn't even thinking about a live event. I was like, yeah, next year, the year after. Like, I'm just kind of getting my feet wet here. Like, and she's like, no. We want to come to your house. I'm like, you want to come to my house? What? You want to fly? And she lives in California. You want to fly 3,000 miles and come to my house? Why? Because I want to meet you. I want to meet the person that's helping me with my business. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I asked the group, who wants to come? And in June, 11 people came to my house, stayed in various bed and breakfasts, and a couple of people stayed with me, and we worked at my dining room table, and people left feeling so excited about their businesses. By the way, before they left, they said, when are we coming back? And I said, you're crazy, right? They're like, no, we want to come back. I'm like, when do you want to come back? They're like, 6 months. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So last weekend in October, we're doing it again. And this time I have 15 people coming. And I'm thinking, how many people can I put in my house? And you know what? I got a little coaching around that. And you know what? If I have to move furniture to make room for more people that want to be here, I'm happy to do it. I am so excited that this magic popped out. I didn't know I was going to be doing live events at my home. And here's the second one. The third thing that popped out is that there's probably another mastermind inside the mastermind that I already released, right? There's a group of people who are getting individually coached by me in addition, and the coach on my team, in addition to the people that are in the mastermind only. And those people, it makes sense to me that they would want more. They would want more attention. If people buy from you once, they're probably going to buy from you again because if they liked what they had, right? So that there's definitely a trust factor that gets built. And I see that over and over again in the businesses that I'm involved in. If people sign up for one thing with you, they'll probably sign up for another if they're getting value. So you've got to keep giving the value. But here's the next magical gift, the opportunity. I'm going to probably have another mastermind growing out of this one. And this other mastermind is going to be for people who are probably, getting close to six figures or already there, who want to play with people who are in the same, sandbox, basically, so to speak, as them. We grow, right, when we're with people that are playing tennis better than us. If we play tennis with people that are worse than us, we probably aren't going to improve our skills so much. So we always want to be around. That's why being in a mastermind is so cool. You'll have people who are beginning, people who are a little more advanced, and everybody kind of pulls each other up, and then you bring new people in, and everybody's sort of at that different level. And that's the cool part. Did I know that I was going to have this happen as well? No. And I also believe, and I think this is something that people get distracted around, that they need to have all the bells and whistles in place before they release their programs or their groups. And you don't need to have anything except email. Email is enough to sign people up, or a Facebook post to get people on the phone. You don't have to have a glitzy landing page for every single program that you do. In fact, some of the most successful programs that I have done have been through word of mouth. The mastermind, I did not even create a landing page or a sales page, so to speak, or summary page until May. I had already enrolled 35 people by May. Oh my gosh, like why would I spend the money on having my virtual assistant build something like that, or spending time myself and trying to figure out lead pages to figure it out. Absolutely not necessary. So I want to just, really, tell you guys that the steps again are: have the big vision, know where you want to go, whittle it down to one thing that you want to focus on, trust the universe, and be open, completely open to what might show up, and keep saying yes to that. There we are. Okay. I'd love to take your questions and hear what you have to, your responses to what I'm saying. I've got a lot of people on the Facebook Live, probably because I posted that I was going to do it. I usually just jump on. Hi, Renata. Nice to see you. Michelle, Loida, Erica, Brian. Hi, Ted. Nice to see you too. Terry and Ted together. Please post your questions. Thanks, Loida. I always love what you say when you watch my Facebook Lives. You always seem to be tuning in. Love to answer your questions on any of it. Great, Brian. Brian says he loves everything I mentioned and he's moving in the same direction. Renata, thanks for sharing this info. I'm going to just talk for a little bit longer just because I want to give you guys a little bit more content today. If you want to build a sustainable business and you're having trouble signing up high-paying clients, which is kind of the advice that most coaches give you, I would, scratch that, and I would start a group, and I would have the group be so affordable that you can fill the group and keep adding to the group so that the monthly payments in your bank account keep going up. That is a key to one of the successful things that I've done is the groups. Because if you have an open enrollment, then you never have to be hustling or looking for new clients. It just keeps growing. And there's also this viral effect because people will bring their friends into a group. Hey, I'm in this mastermind or I'm in this group coaching program and it's really great and it's open enrollment. You can join anytime. And if you have a group like that, you're never going to be looking for another client. I can look in my bank account now and know exactly how much money I'm going to be making this month. There's, the exact amount that I know that's coming in this month, but there's also, if I signed up a couple more people into the group, which they continue to come, then I know that I'll even be making more this month. And that's how my income has gone up or tripled in the past 9 months. Renata, what's the affordable monthly amount you would suggest starting with? Depending on what kind of coaching you do, there's a monthly amount I'm going to suggest, but there's also how long you do your groups as well. And I believe year-long membership is the best way, so you don't have to be always running to find the next client. However, if you're doing something like relationship coaching, you might not want to do a year-long group because someone might think, oh my God, it's going to take me like a whole year to meet my true love. And it may not be congruent unless you build into the group doing coaching, coach you to find him or her and then coach you to keep him or her. That's like second part of the group. You could do something like that. So I think the affordable monthly payment for a mastermind group coaching program, if you're just launching, you call it a pilot. So it doesn't sound like you're diminishing your value, right? Because we all know that we're all worth more than we charge sometimes. And also knowing that you're going to get at least 10 people into this group so that, hour and a half that you're working twice a month delivering your group is a lot of money to get paid for an hour and a half of work. So Renata, what I would suggest is $199 times 12, or if you're doing a 6-month program, $199 times 6. Can you charge more? Absolutely, just depending on who your target market is. If it's executives or professional executives, you might be able to charge $499 a month. I don't know. For the business coaching that I'm doing right now for therapists, coaches, and healers, the entry is $199 times 12, which is extremely affordable. Or you can also have a full pay option to save, which I prefer. And that's $19.97, and it saves your client $400. And a lot of people want to save money, and if they have cash or a credit card, they like to leverage that, so they do save $400. I mean, if I can save money, I'm going to save money. So yeah, I would do $199 times 12 for a year-long program, or $19.97 for a full pay. Ted, how did you pick the right business to focus on? Carry 4 business cards and have 6 websites, struggling to sort all out. Okay, so Ted, I would first of all make a list of all the businesses, and then I would rate the ones that you're having the most success in on, on a scale of 1 to 6. So put them in order. Then I would also rate them on the one that you like doing the most, or the one that makes you feel happy talking about. And then I would burn the rest of your cards and pick that one. So it's the one that's potentially making the most money, or is making the most money, the one that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning. And the one, there's another piece to it. The one that seems the easiest, that doesn't seem hard. Because if it's hard, we're going to get into procrastination and victim loop and all that stuff. So when I knew that I could help people, get clients, build businesses, and that I knew what I was talking about and it wasn't a struggle, it was so easy for me to pick that one. Later, when I started focusing on the parenting again, it felt like pulling teeth. And even though I knew my stuff, it wasn't as joyful as the business. So that's what I would do first, Ted. I would really really do that soul searching, but also make the list of high to low on joy versus not joy, and or what we say sometimes is cake and cringe. What is cake and what makes you cringe, and just put that. It doesn't mean that you have to kill those businesses, but you could just leave those business cards at home, not focus on it, don't post anymore, don't do any work in those areas, and just pick the one that seems viable. That's my suggestion. Any other questions? So happy to see so many people and loving the interaction today. Thank you guys for coming. Do you have specific outline topics each meeting, or depending on the specific challenges? So in the beginning, when I launched the group in January, I took everybody through target market, niche, dreams, visions, and so forth and so on. And I'll probably do that every January because it's business coaching. And then I asked them what their biggest challenges were, and I've utilized those for my topics. But again, because it's a mastermind group, what I might teach something, but it might only be for 10 or 15 minutes or a half an hour. And then the rest of the time, it's a hot seat coaching where somebody has something they want help with, and I reach in and help them, and then open the lines. We use Zoom, unmute everybody and let other people coach that person too. So they're getting a full experience of other people's knowledge in the group. I don't claim to know everything or be an expert on every single thing. Example, last week, somebody asked about publishing a book. I had no idea if other people in our group had published books before. I have published 7, 2 with an agent and 5 myself. And I knew what I knew, but I haven't published a book now in 2 years. And now there's Amazon Create Space, where it's so much easier to do it than the way I was kind of doing that. So absolutely, you want to make sure that, you're listening to what the group wants. So all of a sudden, there was 7 people in our group last time, all telling different ways that they've published books. It was a very, very rich call, content-wise, and they were coaching each other. Loidas, 6 times a year, I bring in an expert. So I don't have to do the heavy lifting every group either. So I've had an expert on LinkedIn. I've had an expert on the exceptional client experience. I've had an expert copywriter. And I have had an expert teach how to do evergreen webinars. And I'm going to be having more experts every other month to give my group what they want to learn from real experts in those particular areas. I can do all that stuff, but I'm not sure I want to teach all that stuff. So there you go. It's a really great way to run a group. I'm also seeing my group members starting to really take what I'm doing and replicate it themselves. Many of them have already formed their own groups and their own masterminds. And a couple of them are charging more money than I am for my group. So that's telling as well, right? So I think the price points are variable. But again, getting back to uh, the question before, I think you can, if you're just starting out, just, make it easy for people to say yes so you can get going. After about a year, you can always, raise the price, or even 6 months of your group. Renata, I don't pay the experts. I tell them it's exposure for them. They get to be in front of 35 new people or whatever, 40 people that they've never met before. I keep the recording in my membership page and a handout that they might have given. I tell my clients that are on the call to go to their website and sign up for the freebie that they have. So it's a great list builder for them and exposure. But I don't pay them, and I also don't allow them to sell on the call either, because I don't want people that are paying me, on my call, feel like they're getting sold too. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to get a drink of water and hang out for a couple minutes and just see if you have any more questions. Who else is here? Hey, Michelle. Nice to see you. Nice. Great. Thanks, Renata. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, well, it's just about 1:30 Eastern, a little bit beyond, and I've been talking to you for 30 minutes. It's probably enough. I'm going off to San Diego tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a Facebook Live from the West Coast and just say hello from the event that I'm going to be at. And if you don't see me, then you'll see me next week. I'll be back here with some more tips for you. Feel free to comment below if you're watching this after I finish this broadcast. And hope to see some of you in person in San Diego if you're going as well. Oh, another question, Renat, how long did it take you to fill your masterminds? I was able to enroll 12 people in 2 weeks with my method, which I teach inside my mastermind group. It's a really fun method, and it's really easy and doesn't cost any money. And I'm so happy that I'll just say this. I didn't do this to promote my mastermind, obviously. I'm doing this to give you guys some good stuff, and hopefully I did. But if anybody is interested in learning more about that, just, send me a private message and we can hop on the phone and I'll tell you about it. So have a great day, everybody, and happy Monday, and go out and have your best week ever.